For the last 20 years, Brett has steered BDA from a team of 2, helping a handful to over 1,800 clinicians, impacting 7 states in the U.S. and the Bahamas. In addition to Brett's 3 decades of rich experience, he's not only an industry innovator, but also a Wall Street Journal best-selling author of this book that he just gifted me with, The 5 Scientific Laws of Life and Leadership. Welcome.
Man, you made that sound
very impressive. Very impressive.
Really good.
And now Dr. Proger, Patrick Proger, PhD, BCBA-owned, serves as Chief Clinical Officer at DiNovi Associates. Well, gentlemen, welcome to Immediate Response. More importantly, welcome to the Bahamas. It's good to have both of you here. I'm going to start with Brett. You have a big event coming up here in the Bahamas, and we want to invite everyone to attend. Anthony Johnson, you know, as I mentioned to you when you were on the call, when you called in, I was at a medical conference where I was the master of ceremonies, and they were talking about autism and all this same stuff and they touch on parts of it. And then all of a sudden I go on Facebook and everything pops up as autism. I don't know if that was a sign of what, Anthony? Oh, Anthony. Okay, Anthony's got his pin on. I have a couple of questions that I will start with. Nice. They say the numbers are overwhelming and keep growing. Today, 1 in 59 children born in the U.S. will be diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder or ASD. On a broader scale, 1% of all the children in the world will be affected by this developmental disorder. Autism is treatable but not curable, eh? Well, I'll let you talk about that. And one of my first questions is for you, Brett, is when do you start seeing the signs of autism in your children? When do you start seeing the signs?
Yeah, sure. And Dr. Pergar can add to this.
Okay.
So, being in the field about 35 years, you often see patterns. What often happens is somewhere between ages 2 and 4, you'll see students and kids start having certain behaviors that are typical of autism, and some of that could be what's called stereotypy or repetitive movements, deficits in social communication. And Dr. Pergar, do you want to mention a few of those things? Because he's really one of the best.
Yes. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, parents often report that there's a lack of, say, eye contact. There's as Brett had mentioned, children engaging in like stereotypic behaviors.
Yes.
Slow to develop communication. Another pattern that parents sometimes see is that children actually begin communicating kind of at a typical rate of other children, but then lose those communication skills. So Brett's correct that oftentimes those things tend to occur between about ages 2 and 4.
Okay. And some of the signs, some of the warning signs of the spectrums that we spoke about it, they don't speak or they have delayed speech, trouble understanding other people's feelings or expressing their own, performs repetitive movements like rocking, spinning, and hand flapping, resist cuddling or holding, and little or no eye contact. Yeah, you want to speak about that, Dr. Brewer?
Yeah. No, those are all exactly right. And what typically will happen then is that parents will approach their pediatrician, or there's also something called a developmental pediatrician,
yes,
who are experts in terms of developmental delays. And it's often that type of professional who would diagnose autism. Other professionals can, but more often than not, it's probably pediatricians.
Yes. Okay. And they also prefer to be alone at this stage. They prefer to be...
Oftentimes, yes. Oftentimes, kids with autism prefer to be alone.
Yes.
Yeah, and to add to that, one of the most important things that can occur in those early years, ages 2 to 4, is early intervention.
Okay.
So
you can step in early. All right.
Although we were talking about there's no specific cure, if you get early intervention between the ages of 2 and 4,
there's help
with ABA therapy, applied behavioral analysis therapy. You basically could change the whole trajectory of a kid's life, where you can really minimize those symptoms, where they're functioning really well in life.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. So what do you do if your child displays these symptoms? What is the first thing should a parent do?
Well, as I'd mentioned, you want to get a formal diagnosis of
Yes.
autism.
Yes.
And once that happens, then, as Brett mentioned, the earlier you can start with applied behavior analysis, typically the better the outcome will be. And there are numerous reports in the literature of individuals with autism who move into like a general education setting,
Right.
no supports or anything else like that, if they've been given ABA.
Okay.
Now, there are individuals, though, that, and there's a lot of research on this too, that even if they're exposed to applied behavior analysis at an early age, they might make gains, but those gains might be somewhat minimal. So there's a huge range of outcomes that can occur.
Right.
But ABA can improve the lives of not just the children, but their families.
Yes, of course.
Everything else.
Of course.